Okay, so today we are doing 1.1 part 2. So this is day 2 of our lesson from yesterday. We are adding integers with the same sign still. So that's why our I can is still I can add integers with the same sign. So after this lesson and tomorrow's practice, hopefully you'll be able to say that yes, you can add integers with the same sign. So our key terms down below is the absolute value. Make sure you copy down this vocab. The distance a number is away from 0. So absolute value will always be positive because we always talk about distance as a positive. Even if it is behind you or below sea level, it's never talked about it as a negative. And because that's how far it is away from 0. So the absolute value of 5, since 5 is 5 spaces away from 0, it is 5. However, the absolute value of -5 is also 5. And that's because it is also 5 spaces away from 0. So no matter what, if you're talking about absolute value, it will always be positive. So today we're going to incorporate the rule of adding integers with the same sign. So we did counters and number lines, but when you start getting into numbers like 109 or even 23, you don't want to have to draw all of those symbols or all of those little jumps. So that's why we have the rule. The rule is to add integers with the same sign, you add the absolute values of the integers and you use the sign of the integers for the sum. And remember, sum means adding. So it also means add the integers, keep the sign. All right, so in long terms, it's the absolute value of -7 plus the absolute value of -6. The absolute value of -7 is 7 because it is 7 away from 0. And the absolute value of -6 is 6 because they're 6 away from 0. So 7 plus 6 would be 13. But then it does say to use the sign that the integers were. Well, the integers we just had were negative. So then our answer would be -13. So that's how you apply the rule. And that is why we have the rule, because things like this, I don't want to draw counters. I don't want to draw 109 plus 191. Okay, and we still can apply the rule to these positives. So the absolute value of 109 plus the absolute value of 191. So the distance it is from 0 is 109. And the distance this is 191 is from 0 is 191. And then we add them together. Right, 9, 10, carry, 9, 10, carry, 300. These are both positive. We use their sign, so this stays positive. So our answer is just 300. So on the additional practice, I'm going to do number 7, and then I'm going to have you pause to do number 8, 9, and 10 to show you that you don't always have to draw all the absolute values as long as you remember absolute value. So for number 7, I can just add these numbers, so 8 plus 1. And what I did is I took their absolute values without writing the absolute value symbol. So 8 plus 1 is 9. But because these are both negative in my original problem, my answer would be negative 9. And so that's how you can apply the rule without having to draw all the absolute values. So at this point, I'd like you to pause, do problems 8, 9, and 10 on your own. And once you've completed those 3 problems, push play, and I will work them out, and we can see how that went. So here is number 8. So I would go 3 plus 7. There's their absolute values. Negative 3 is 3 away from 0. Negative 7 is 7 away from 0. I add them together, I get 10. But because they were both negative originally, my answer is negative in the end as well. Now, if we think back to yesterday's lesson, it makes sense because we all had the same symbols for when we did counters, and we went the same distance or same direction, direction, not distance, same direction when we did number lines. So that's why the rule comes into place. They go the same direction, so same sign. And they go, you use the same symbols with the counters, so positive signs or negative signs, so same signs. So that is why you use the same sign. So that's where the rule comes from. It's just from yesterday when we used our counters or our number lines. Okay, so number 9, absolute value of negative 48 is 48, plus the absolute value of negative 12 is 12, because it's 12 away from 0. Add these together. All right, 10, and then 4, 5 plus that 10 is 6. But because they were negative originally, my answer is also negative. And then number 10, so 32, because negative 32 is 32 away from 0, plus 38, negative 38 is 38 spaces away from 0. Add them together, that's 10. 3 and 3 makes 6, plus my 10 makes 7. But because they're negative here, I'm going to make it negative here, negative 70. All right, so that's our rule. Add them together, keep the sign they were. Okay, so things to remember. Just add and keep the sign is kind of a shortened way of that rule. And that, like I said, that's what we did yesterday in that lesson, was same symbols, right? There's the same sign, and we added them together. And same with the number lines, we went the same direction. That's also the same sign, and we added them together. Okay, and then you can write anything else that you want to remember that'll help you. And then don't forget your questions so that you can have them in class, or that you can remember when you fill out your form, or also if I don't address them when we do get to class and you really want to make sure I address it, you have it in there and remember. Don't forget to also have these in your comp book and ready to go for Friday. Bring your comp book to class. We will always have our comp book in class. All right, see you. Oh, A group Monday, sorry.